Hi everyone, welcome to PDA's Digital Literacy Guide to Zoom. So what is Zoom? Zoom is an app that makes it easy to have a conversation, meeting or workshop with lots of people at the same time. In order to use Zoom, you'll need a device like a smartphone, tablet or laptop. You'll also need a strong internet connection like Wi-Fi or a home-based router. Then you'll need to download the Zoom app onto your smartphone or use a web-based browser like Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. To use Zoom on a smartphone device, follow these 3 easy steps. 1. Go to your App Store. 2. Type in Zoom and download the Zoom app with the same icon at step 2. And 3. Once it's installed, sign up, sign in, or join using an invitation that someone might have previously sent to you. If you want to use Zoom on your laptop, just go to your browser, which could be Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Opera, or Safari. Type in Zoom and click on the first link that comes up. That link will take you to the Zoom homepage where you can sign up, sign in, or join as before. If you've received a meeting invitation through your email or on your smartphone via text or WhatsApp, you can go directly to the meeting by clicking on the URL under Join Zoom Meeting, or you can open up your Zoom app which you downloaded and type in the meeting ID and passcode as shown on the bottom of your invitation. Okay, so let's try together using your computer's browser. I use Google, but you might use something else. Type in Zoom, and it should be the first link that comes up. If it's not, you also can type in zoom.us and it will take you to the home page. Once you're on the home page, you can choose to sign up if you want a Zoom account but don't have one yet, or you can sign in if you already have one, or you can just join a meeting if you have an invitation and you don't really want to sign up. You can also host a meeting in the similar way. Today we're going to join the meeting, and then you go to your invitation in your email or your messages. It should look like this. At the bottom you have your meeting ID. You pop it into there, you click join, and then it's going to ask you for a passcode. Here's your passcode, and you just pop it in and it will take you straight to the meeting. Or if it's easier, you can always just click on the link and it will open Zoom app. So I've already downloaded Zoom onto my computer, which is why it's offering me the option to open Zoom meetings in the app. If you want to open it in the browser, you can launch it here. And if you want to download Zoom, you can just go underneath Launch Meeting and click Download Zoom Now. And then you download it onto your computer. And so we're going to open Zoom meetings and we're in Zoom. So the first thing that will happen is you'll get a pop-up message that says join with audio. Because you want people to hear you, you should always join with your audio. And then the next thing to do is to check straight away, are you muted? Now normally your host will mute you before you join, but if not, always put yourself on mute so that you don't disturb anyone else in the meeting with your background noises. Also, when there's lots of participants, it can create a bit of an echo. You can still hear me now because you're listening through the recording, but normally on Zoom when you're muted, no one will be able to hear you. Okay, and if you do want to contribute to the meeting very quickly, you can always press your spacebar and you'll be temporarily unmuted. And when you're done speaking and contributing, you lift your hand off the spacebar and you'll be back on mute. Now the little upward arrow are audio settings. My suggestion is that if you're new to Zoom, that you don't mess with the settings until you become more familiar. The icon next to your mute and unmute is stop your video. So I'm going to stop my video and you'll see it comes up with a little icon with my initial. You can also change this in your settings by uploading a picture of yourself or a business logo, and sometimes it will also have your name here. So the settings for video are here on this upward arrow. You can choose a virtual background, you can add different filters. So definitely play around with this, but I suggest also not in a meeting. And I'll turn my video back on. So the next icon here is security. This is particularly for hosts. Since you'll be mainly a participant, you won't get this icon. And if you do ever want to host a meeting, I can do another video on hosting at a later stage. The next icon you will see though is participants. If I click on participants, you'll see it takes me, it opens up this panel of participants. So at the moment, I'm the only participant here. I'm the host, but if there's more people in here, you'll be able to see a list of everyone who's in the meeting. You can look for colleagues or people you know, and you'll also be able to see who the host of the meeting is if you need to. I have mute all here because I'm the host. As a participant, you won't have that option. But if I open chat, you'll be able to see that it splits the participant list and the chat. Now, we don't really need to see participants right now, so I'm going to close that and just leave us with the chat. The chat is a good way to introduce yourself or send messages to the group without disturbing the meeting. So I'm going to say, hi, I'm Zoe from PDA, and send it to the whole group. So you can see this is from me to everyone in the group. If I wanted to send a direct message to somebody, let's say my colleague Safina was in the meeting with us, I would click on this downward arrow and it would bring up a whole list of everyone who's in the meeting. I could click on her name and then it would change this from everyone to Safina. I would type a message to say, hi Safina, whatever I want to say to her, and press send, and then it would say from me to Safina, but it would also come up in this panel. Similarly, I can send files, PDFs, documents, or images to everyone, or just to directly message it to somebody. Now, it's really important to remember that if you are direct messaging somebody, always to double check before you press send. It's happened to me before, and I know it's happened in a few Zoom meetings I've been in where someone thinks they're sending a message to someone directly and they end up sending it to the whole group. So definitely always check before you send a direct message. Okay, and that's chat. So I'm going to close the chat now, and then we go to the next icon, which is record. Now, as a participant, you can record, but you always need to get consent from the host and as well as the other participants. And similarly, if you're the host, it's really important to get consent before you record a meeting. And if you don't want to be recorded, you can always stop your video for the meeting and still participate. If you want to check if a host is recording, you can check the corner up here and it will have a little red dot that comes up. And if you see that red dot and you haven't been informed, you can let the host know, or you can stop your video, or if you don't mind, you just continue as normal. The last icon here is reactions. So if you don't want to disturb the meeting by unmuting yourself, you can have a reaction to what the speaker is saying. You can laugh, you can say wow, you can love it, or you can celebrate it. And then it will come up in the corner of your screen. So normally that icon will go away by itself, but if you have a question and you raise your hand, it will also come up in the same place, but it won't go down by itself until you actually lower it. So once the host has answered your question, you can lower your hand just like that. And that's reactions, and really it's as simple as that. The last thing is these little outward arrows that will let you put your Zoom into full screen. And then normally if you have lots of other people in the meeting, next to this icon will be another button that says speaker view or gallery view. At the moment we're in speaker view, so I'm in the main screen, but if you wanted to be able to see everyone else who's in the meeting, you would click here on speaker view and everyone else would come up in tiles. The last thing to mention as well is there's breakout rooms that are used in a Zoom meeting, so the host will say, I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. You don't need to do anything. You'll end up with a pop-up message that says join room 1 or 2. You just press join and voila, you're in a breakout room. And the host will automatically bring you back from those as well. So that's very easy. No need to worry about that. And that's really all there is to Zoom. If you want to leave a meeting, you press the red button in the corner that says leave meeting. Mine says end because I'm the host, so I can choose to end it for everyone or just leave the meeting and leave everyone else in the meeting. But because that's the end of our session and there's not really much more to say about Zoom, I will end the meeting for all and wish you happy Zooming. Bye.